was approximately 12:15 when I entered the Johnson County Community Health Clinic. I was there for an appointment I had set up weeks ago, just a routine checkup. It wasn't a new place for me. I'd been there a couple times. However, the place had an odd, nostalgic feeling to it, as if it were a location from my childhood or something. I could never pinpoint exactly what this feeling was, or where it came from. As I walked in, an overwhelming feeling of deja vu swept over me. The hum of the flickering fluorescent lights, the white tile flooring, the muted beige paint that covered the walls. I noticed that there was a TV mounted in the corner, a smaller flat screen. I was playing a short PowerPoint slide showing a loop of ads and events that were being held by the clinic. I passed the empty waiting area, a small area of the main room with magazines, children paintings, and blue cushioned chairs, and approached the woman at the front desk. She was sitting in her bluish-gray office chair, looking at a spreadsheet on the same Windows XP desktop they've had since 2008. There was a sign-in sheet on the counter in front of me. "I have an appointment with Dr. Pebis," I asked.
What time?
12:30, I replied. She began typing something into her keyboard.
Yes.
She responded.
Gary Johnston.
Hmm.
Yes, I'll tell the doctor. Please fill this out.
She handed me a clipboard which showed a simple fill-out form. I walked back to the waiting area, took a seat, and began to fill out the form. I was about halfway done with filling in my information when I slumped back in my chair. I hadn't gotten much sleep the night prior, and I was exhausted. As I slumped back, I noticed something very peculiar. My head never hit the wall. In fact, it felt like I went in. I got up, quite frightened, and looked at the wall. Nothing. Not a single hole or dent had been made in the wall by my head. So I reached to touch the wall. My fingers went through it. I recoiled in shock. What the hell was that? I thought, as I reached to touch the wall again, only to find my fingers clip through it once more. Then suddenly I lost my balance, tripped, and fell directly through the wall. I fell face first onto some dirty tan carpeting. Upon getting back up, I realized that I was in a completely different room. Well, not really a room per se, more so a set of rooms, all of which were connected by openings. The walls were covered in gross, tan, patterned wallpaper. There was also an overwhelming stench of moist carpet. I turned back around and tried to put my hand back through the wall, and it wouldn't go through. Okay, what the fuck? I muttered. I looked back into the room. There are no windows, no doors, nothing on the walls other than that disgusting wallpaper. Of course, it was completely empty, aside from a singular plastic blue school chair. At this point, the only thing going through my head was fear, and the repeating thought of, I need to leave, on loop in my head. I started running through the rooms, desperately trying to find an exit, but to no avail. There was no exit. Was this my permanent location until I died? No, there had to be another way out. I wasn't just going to be left here, right? Eventually someone would notice that I was gone. Nobody did. Then in the distance, I heard footsteps, but not those of a human, at least not a normal one. Alongside the footsteps was a gurgling snarl, like that of an angry animal. I began to run. I ran as fast as I could from whatever the hell was approaching me. I didn't want anything to do with it. I ran for what seemed like forever, but I was always back in the same room I started in. At least, it looked like the same room, not that I could tell them apart. So I sat down, defeated. A feeling of dread fouled my body. As I started to cry, I was gonna die here. I'm still there. I haven't left. I've accepted my fate. In fact, I actually hear the footsteps. I wonder who that is. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the story that started it all. The story, I think the first ever story written about the Backrooms, honestly, from what I could find out. So, yeah, let's talk about it, I guess. So, first off, is this story good? It's alright. I mean, didn't really like how the ending was. I mean, if our character was, trapped in the back rooms, how was the story able to be written out? Like, I mean, he fell, unless he had a computer, which I don't think he did, he probably had his cell phone, and even then, how was he able to get a signal and able to write the story? So, yeah, that really takes it out of the sort of ordinary. Um, Besides that, though, story's alright. Nothing too major. It's pretty short, but it's weird to think that this story was really the beginning of the Backrooms. It started everything, and honestly, what made this story so popular wasn't really so much the story itself. I mean, the story itself, I mean, it's alright. Main character goes to a doctor and just falls through, and unfortunately can't go back in. The only thing is, him in this little chair are stuck in what seems to be, like, I guess, one of the back rooms. There's no way out. It's sort of endless, and there appears to be something following him, although it's not human. So yeah, you can definitely see the seeds in this story that were later, I guess, developed and became this big thing that we saw in not only in the backroom found footage, but in general, the whole lore of the Backrooms. Like I said before, I don't like the ending. I don't like first off, how is the main character able to write the story out and get it out? He never got out. There's no really explanation as to how he was able to write this story out. I mean, unless the only explanation I can think of was that maybe someone went into the back rooms and he wrote it somewhere. Then again, he didn't have a notebook. I don't know. That honestly takes me out of it and towards the end. But what made this story so popular is really the image itself. The image of the Backrooms, which you put on screen, is really what blew this story up, because it looks familiar. Like, there are bits and pieces of that image that look familiar, that we've seen somewhere in our childhood. And so when you put them together, it seems like we've been there. Even in the beginning of the story, it said that, it feels like deja vu. And that's definitely what made this story popular, is the fact that it feels like you've been there, maybe in real life, maybe in a dream. Now, from my understanding, was that this image was supposedly the rumor was that it came from some sort of like trailer or some type of house or something, far out in the States. But again, I don't know if this is confirmed, as the building itself is sort of, closed. There's no real way of getting in. Really, the origin of the image itself is still a bit of a mystery. There's still a bit of speculation. So as to where this image came from, I don't simply have an answer. At least at the moment, for now, at the time of making this video. So yeah, that was the Backrooms. A really quick one here, not too long of a creepy reading, but hey, I decided, since with the whole backroom craze going on, I figured, why not, read the story that started it all. And really, for a story that started such a community, lore, and tons of different levels too, and also an ongoing web series by a really talented YouTuber, the story itself is not one of my favorites, honestly. If I gotta be honest, this story's alright. It's a good little campfire story, but is it one of the best creepypastas? Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, there's some things that I like, but then there were some things that, I didn't really, like the ending. It would have been nice if it was expanded upon a little bit, but I mean, the image attached to it is cool. Definitely, it definitely shot it up in popularity. A lot of creepypastas benefit when you have like an image or a video, kind of like a Majora's Mask or Smile Dog. Those really blew up because they have something attached to it or something to accompany with it. But for the Backrooms, yeah, image is good, the story not so much. So anyways, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Link of the original story in the description below. And don't forget to check out my other content and my other social medias. And with that being said, I am out.